Andy, welcome back to RaithTV. We speak regularly in the passing, but great to get a chance to get you on camera and chatting directly with the most important people the Raith Rovers support. Tell me, how are you doing? How are things? And how are you enjoying this winning team of ours?
Yeah, it's great. I think everyone enjoys it a little bit more when you're winning games of football on a Saturday. We're not getting ahead of ourselves. We've made a good start, but that's all it is. It's a start. So, we'll keep the feet in the ground and we'll let everyone else get excited round about us, because it's good. That's what we want. We want people to be excited and have a buzz about Raith Rovers again. So the players are doing their job on the pitch, so it's can't complain at the minute.
I love getting to contradict you within the first minute and a half of the interview. We'll keep our feet in the ground. I'm sure there was a distance between the bottom of your trainers and the ground at that Queen's Park game in particular.
Yeah, we might have to get a bigger railing. If we keep scoring these late goals, we might have to get a bigger railing.
You're doing quite a job with the marketing in terms of winning in dramatic fashion as well. Late goals, the excitement level's there, isn't it?
That's it. I think if you were guaranteed to score a winner in the last minute, then I think we'd all take it. It doesn't feel as comfortable as that during the game when we're sitting there going through the mill like everyone else is. But it probably has that little bit of a bigger impact, shall we say.
Great. When we first spoke, the kind of aspirations were huge. Time frames were really, really tight, and the budget, of course, was evolving. How did those first few months play out for you and the team coming in? Because whirlwind's probably an understatement.
Yeah, it absolutely is an understatement. It was very busy, chaotic, wasn't really that enjoyable, to be honest. I think it was just there was that much going on. We were trying to fit that much into a short space of time. The pressure was on sort of everyone, but we did it. I think there's been a strong foundation built on hard work, and I think the early few months probably just sort of captivated everything. It was symbolic of what we were trying to achieve. So as much as it wasn't really that enjoyable at the time, it sort of set the tone, if you like.
How rewarding was it when you see people coming back for the first time and they see this symbolic change? I love that use of language there. I spoke to probably everybody that's lucky enough to pull on the dark blue jersey, and everyone has mentioned to me, have you seen the dressing rooms? Have you seen what we came back to? Have you seen the work that's gone in? Have you seen how we're being looked after? Have you seen where you used to do interviews and it's now something totally different? How rewarding was that for yourself, as well as supporters coming back for maybe hospitality and such and saying, wow, look at this?
Yeah, it's so important. It's so important. You have to, again, rightly or wrongly, we chose to prioritise the football environment. But you can see the impact it's having. Players are commenting, players that were here last season, players that have visited here as away players. You can see the effect it has on them on a daily basis. You only have to come here, Monday to Friday like you do, and the levels, the standards that we're going about our business day to day has gone up several levels. Particularly in a football sense, how they do things, and all that is made possible by the environment.
Let's start by looking at your role as CEO. What would you define as your biggest success so far?
Just get the amount of change, the change in mood about the place. Building that excitement. The fans getting behind us. They really are sort of driving everything. I'm talking about season ticket sales, I'm talking retail sales, social media interactions. Like, they are the foundation that's sort of driving everything. And I think that's probably the biggest achievement I'd say so far. We know we're not perfect. We know as a business, as a football club, we have to get better. Our customer service is not good enough, or our fan experience, our facilities need improved. We know that, but I think the fans are sort of buying into the journey and buying into what we're trying to do. So for me, that's the biggest win we've had. We've had great wins out in the pitch, but I think to just see the change in attitude probably from Raith fans as a whole is it's been probably the most important. That fuels everything, it drives everything that we're trying to do.
And how does that represent itself to you? Are people coming and speaking with you? Are you getting the emails? Are you getting the calls? Because football fans, the planet over, if they see a scab, they're going to pick it. But often when things are turning in a positive way, they just take it for granted. Are you getting that reward, or your office team and the wider group getting those rewards?
Yeah, I think we all are. All of the modes you mentioned there, social media can be a daunting place at times, but it can also be an opportunity, a vehicle for people to express good things, and we're getting that. We're certainly getting that. Myself personally, I've had messages from people, even just about the club and about the town. You're sort of bumping into people and they're saying, loving what's going on at the minute, and keep up the good work, we're behind you. Just little snippets, little messages like that. It means a lot to us. It's what we hoped we could achieve, and we've done it early on. So keep building on that, keep driving it.
Okay, let's look at some of the kind of, I guess, headline bits that you would kind of balance success and progression against. If I go through these one by one, I'd be interested in your comment. Season ticket sales, great improvement. How progressive have they been this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think I went on record as saying it's the most season tickets we've sold in 20 years. It's incredible, really. It really is so important. I can't underestimate just the importance it has on everything that we do. It's from a financial point of view, but even for the players, players have personally said to me just the difference. Players that have been here, players again that have been here as an away player. They're actually the atmosphere alone. Never mind people parting with their hard-earned cash to buy the ticket. Just what they're bringing on a Saturday as well. It's having a huge impact on everything. So it's so important.
Crowd sizes, we've not had a really significant, kind of huge travelling support yet in terms of our league games, but we're kind of etching towards 3,000. We've got over the threshold of that. That's a lot of people who are making maybe an impulse decision, or maybe are just saying, what, as money allows, I'm going to go on this journey. How significant has it been to see that extra level beyond the season tickets of people saying, I'm coming back? Yeah,
I mean, I think the travelling support we took to East End Park, to Easter Road was incredible. I mean, I think it shocked the guys at Hibs, just the amount of tickets we sold in a good way. Obviously for us, it shone a great light on us as a club that we were backed by that numbers. It surprised others in Scottish football, and on the day they were great. Obviously the result didn't go the way we wanted it to go, but it was. It just shows you that the backing is there, and they'll come out and support us when we need them, because we do need them.
Strip sales, we're focusing the home top to begin with, have been really strong. This leisure wear that's come in, I don't know if some of it even touched the shelf before it was in parcels and gone. The only one is people saying, I wasn't able to get it, when's the next lot in? You've got a particular skill set here. How complicated is it to get the kit that we want into Kirkcaldy?
It's not that complicated. In fairness, I'll probably take the blame in terms of just not putting it on sale. I didn't want to put it on sale. I wanted to wait. We're in the process of building a new website. I wanted to wait till that was up. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic fan experience, buyer experience. We thought it would be ready by now. There's been a slight delay as these things happen with websites. So I probably held back on putting it on sale. In fairness, I want to have a better club shop here at the stadium. Again, that's been sort of delayed for whatever reason, so it's probably on me, so people can point a finger of blame that we didn't get that on sale. It's been here for a number of weeks. We just sort of held back waiting, but I think the demand got so high, and when things were pushed back, we thought, let's get it on sale. And you're right, it didn't touch the shelf. It was
Is a restock possible?
Yeah, it's already been made. Yeah, there's a top-up order has already been made, and it's sort of 2 weeks away from being back on the shelf. So.
Well, a great position to be in, that actually your hand is forced by demand rather than actually having to be reactive and say we've missed the boat here.
Yeah, absolutely. Even in the replica kits, no one sort of foreseen especially the away kit, just in terms of the impact that had. You design kits have been involved in a lot from the other side of the fence, but you hope they do well. But I think no one could have sort of anticipated just how well both kits would have done. Maybe it's part of the overall excitement that's going around the club, and that was a way people can kind of share their excitement by buying a top. But it's a great problem to have. We reacted pretty quickly as soon as we sort of realised that they were going to be a smash hit, and again within the next month we'll have a restock of both home and away, and people will be able to get it again.
Smash hit, I don't think comes close to the reality of this away jersey. Let's turn our eye there. Taking the kind of concept of a centenary of a shipwreck and turning it into kind of Spanish fashion chic in this kind of building relationship. Is that beyond your wildest dreams, or is that something that you've kind of stroked your chin and thought, I wonder how far we could go with this?
Yeah, I mean, it did take us by surprise. Obviously, again, social media played a big part in in terms of making that connection. If there was no social media, that would never have happened. But it quickly just snowballed, and then we kind of thought pretty early on, we thought we're sort of onto something here, and there's some mileage in this, and we can really kind of work this. So we've continued to do that. We are still continuing to do that. I know the sort of question on everyone's lips, but it's something that we are working towards, and hopefully we can pull it off. There's other factors, there's another team involved for a start that might not be so keen as us and our fans, but we're trying our best to make that happen, and let's see where it takes us.
I think you've answered the question that I've not yet asked, but it's the one that everybody's saying, did you ask him, did you ask him, did you ask him? If the friendly does or doesn't happen, it won't be for the want of trying. I'm assuming.
Absolutely, yeah. We would like it to happen. It's obviously it takes two to tango, as they say. So we just have to hope that we can get it over the line.
Let's talk about the kind of ongoing strategy, because kind of core to any football club is the reality of how much money do you bring in. Chatting with the whole group of yous at the start of this journey, there was a lot of emphasis placed on looking at what our hospitality fairing was, looking at what it could be, and looking at what we'd aspire for it to be moving forward. What progress has been made there? How is that stacking up, and is that something that you think's going in the right direction?
Yeah, it's certainly going in the right direction. It's probably not going as quick as we maybe thought before a ball was kicked, as they say, but we're moving in the right direction. We understand that it has to get better, the offering we currently have at the minute. I think it has got better, but I think we have to bring it up a few levels again. If we're trying to do that on the pitch, we have to do it everywhere else. So we're aware that we have to improve the facilities and make it more attractive for people to come and spend. It's not cheap, so we have to make sure it's people are getting value for money and they're enjoying the experience when they do come here. So we're pushing on with it. We just have to keep relying on planning permission and things like that. So we just have to keep doing from our side and keep pushing it on, and it'll happen. It will happen sooner rather than later.
So I mentioned the planning permission. Is that about a change to structures, or is that about extra capacity? What would be involved there?
Structurally, really, to be honest. We're kind of curtailed. We can't really build anything onto what we've got here, apart from perhaps at the top of the ramp where we've kind of spoken about, but that's probably what we've got here structurally is what we've got. We need to just make the best of it. So there's complications with that. It's an old stand. There's complications, for instance, the cladding was supposed to start on the 26th of this month. Believe it or not, there's some complications with the type of fixing, because it's an old building, and the type of concrete brings complications with fixings. So these are things you never envisage when you're going to try and renovate a stand or or whatnot. So it's a long drawn out process, but we're keep forging on. There's still nothing's changed. There's still the desire to do these things, and we just need to keep batting down the doors.
What about the engagement with, I guess, it's hospitality at all levels, from bigger businesses, smaller local businesses, wider groups, but also the kind of individual families of 2, 3, 4 and 5 people that will come along. Are you finding that people are engaging with the club, or is there a kind of maybe a lack of resilience just in terms of the wider economy?
I think so, yeah. I think it's a world we're living in. People don't have as much disposable income as they maybe once did. We've tried a few different things in terms of pricing structure, different offerings, just to try and really find out what works, what people like, what they are prepared to pay. So it's a work in progress. We'll continue to try and find the right way, and it won't be a sort of one size fits all. There'll be, for different games, there'll be different offerings, and we'll try and make it accessible to as many people as we possibly can.
How's the budget shaping up? I've heard all kind of versions of this budget, from they're spending money like Madrid's Galacticos right through to, it's about 50 pence more than we were spending last season and the season before. Is it a case that there's always trapdoors? How's the finances?
No, we're happy. It's on course. It's on budget from what we'd set out at the start. We probably signed a couple of players and went over budget at one point, but we've kind of brought that back into line with recent moves, which has to happen. I won't meet everyone's opinions, and people have got their own favourites in terms of players. That happens. We're aware of that, but you've got to make decisions based on football and sort of business, and I feel we've done that, and we're really happy where we are in terms of our playing budget, in terms of the squad we've got. We can still get better. The players we've signed can still improve. I think there's still levels for them to go up. Even the players that were here last year, I think they can still go up levels. But I see the work they're doing every day, and it doesn't guarantee success, but I think it gives you a hell of a good chance to be successful on a weekend. So,
what's the targets for this season on the park? Because that's clearly going to affect the money that comes in to service off the park.
Of course it does. We want to be ambitious. We've not shied away from it. We want to challenge. We want to challenge at the top. We finished 7th last year. We want to certainly improve on that. So we've made a good start, as I said at the opening. We've made a good start, but that's all it is. We're not getting carried away. We could have easily lost or drawn a couple of the games. So feet on the ground. As I keep going back to it, I see what happens every day. So I think the way we are conducting ourselves every day is giving us a good chance of winning games of football. So we continue to do that. We continue to push and drive the standards. Then again, I think we'll win more games than we lose, and let's see where that takes us.
I think one of your colleagues says to me, this isn't an all or nothing one season hit here, but top four's clearly within our capability when we see the squad that's there. Is that the measure that we're setting just now? Yeah,
well, I hope fans think that. I want fans to turn up when they're in their house and thinking about coming to games. I want them to think that we're capable of finishing the top 4 and beyond. That's what we're trying to build. We need that thought process. So I want fans to get excited as much as I'm saying keep the feet in the ground. I do want them to be excited, because that's, at the end of the day, that's what we're all here for. We're here to entertain and make people feel good about themselves. So we'll continue to do that, and again, where we finish come the end of the season, it will be where we deserve to finish, and we'll take it from there.
I'm going to ask you a wee bit about pathways on the pitch, but I'm going to start with asking a wee bit about pathways off the pitch, because the work that's been put in, the engagement with local community resources, schools, of course our own foundation here. We've got the kind of youth section that flirts between being, is it a singing section, is it a youth section? One thing that's very clear is the amount of kids wearing our kit, the amount of kids that identify themselves as Raith Rovers supporters before anything else, and the noise they make in the stand is absolutely brilliant. Tell me a wee bit about that engagement. What's the plan? How do you monitor that day to day? And is there anything more we can do by way of outreach to the local community?
Yeah, I think we're trying very hard to sort of engage with the group. I think the issue we've got, it's probably 3 or 4 little groups rather than one big group that all come together. So it's trying to kind of pull them together, try to actually say they have a place here, they belong again. That we want them here. We want them to be vocal, to be loud, to be noisy, to annoy a few people. Stay off the pitch, mind you, but we want them to be that. We want them to come here and enjoy themselves, and as long as they stay within the letter of the law, we'll actively promote them to give them their place, give them their identity, and we're trying to engage. Dot's doing some good work with the younger ones to try and engage with them. Social media, we've tried to engage with them. We're actively trying to do that, and we'll continue to do that, but it takes time. It's not going to be we're not suddenly going to open a section of the stand that's been closed for some time and everyone's going to pile into it. It takes time. We have to let it grow. We have to nurture it a little bit and work with it. So we've got to continue to do that, but we need people to buy into it as well, because we've got some big games coming up that we could potentially sell these seats, but we want them to be filled with Raith fans, is what we're saying. Yeah,
and I guess for some of the older heads, myself included, there is a wee bit of I really like that line that you say, well, sometimes change is to annoy a few people as well, but is there a wee bit of kind of learning step by step of more of that, less of this, and that engagement's the way forward if Dot's on top of that? Yeah,
I think communication, we'll help them. We'll help them grow and we'll help them enjoy themselves, but they've got to help us as well. They can't bring any sort of discontent among our own fans or any harm to the club. So they've got to, as long as they kind of buy into that, and then we can work together. It's a two-way street. We'll help them have a good time.
So the door's open, but stay off the pitch and keep the flares in your pocket.
Correct.
I'll see it for you. I know you're itching to. You mentioned match day experience. Is there a list of actions sitting in your desk that you'd like to see coming? We've looked. One of the big changes, I guess, would be the catering change. I've been asked on behalf of the Vegan and Vegetarian Society to say, can they have a pie as well? But it seems that what you've put in place there, people are rubbing their hands and their bellies that it seems to have been a success.
Yeah, they are. Again, it's something we consciously try to do. It's perhaps a easier change than others to make. So we did that. We've tried to create an offer and trying to mix it up, trying to give different variety. We'll always continue to listen. You know, the vegan, vegetarian option is something that we will listen to, and we'll try and be as responsive as we possibly can. But the whole overall fan experience, it just plays a part. As I said, that's probably an easier change to make, but we've got 629 broken seats, or seats that need some kind of repair to them in this stadium. That's too many. That's 629 too many in my book. We have to change that. We have to get better, but it takes money, it takes time. So it's a gradual, when you say there's a list, but it's a long list, and we'll keep ticking them off, and we've already done some work that we could do, the sort of easy wins if you like, but we'll continue to keep pushing and looking at the different options that we can to improve everywhere that we've got and that needs improvement.
Certainly getting into the office, it's a busier place, there's more staff there, you know, added investment in the kind of social media world. What extra value does that bring to Raith Rovers?
I mean, I think the eyes of, you know, I've had people speak to me, you know, football people outside of football, and just say, you're doing some great work at Raith Rovers. Now they're only judging that based on what they see on social media and the output that you guys put out. That's coming from that alone. So it shows you how powerful. I think the eyes of the world, or the footballing world and the wider world, are judging us, are judging everyone on social media output, whether we like it or not. It's the way of the world now. And I think there's been huge. I think we're knocking it out the park in terms of what we've been doing on there since the start of the season. So we just continue to grow that. There's ideas that we want to try and bring in. Again, takes money, takes time, takes investment, but we'll continue to keep pushing the levels and keep making everything better.
A wee word for, now I've got a vested interest in this one, so I'll put that out there. Wee word for the work of volunteers round about the club, just every bit as important as it always was.
Absolutely, more important. We're trying to make things better, we're trying to improve, we're taking things up a notch here, so we need more volunteers, we need the volunteers we have, we need more of their time, but hopefully they can sort of see, and obviously it was rewarding for them before, but hopefully they can see that they're actually, you know, we're being part of building something that's new, that's better, hopefully, and they can take some sense of pride out of that as well. But absolutely, I've said on numerous occasions, clubs like Raith Rovers can't function without an army of volunteers. Now more so than ever, we need those volunteers, and we need to keep growing that army. So. Great.
Mentioned about pathways, we spoke a wee bit about the kind of young team and people who, in previous interviews we've said about people who've maybe never even been to a game of football, just come in, the door's open. Probably the best sales pitch was with one of the young kids in the season ticket ads, where she was saying, you know, just come, it's great. Mm-hmm. Let's look at the kind of playing staff and that side of things. In terms of pathway, there's no better example for youth than the signing of young Callum, who sat in that chair maybe 10 days ago and represented himself so well. What's the current thinking with regards whatever it's called, youth team, development team, underage groups, moving beyond the kind of 16s to augment the work of the first team? How's that looking? And I imagine it's going to be John Potter's world.
Yeah, there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes. You know, if you come up here on a Wednesday evening or Thursday evening, you'll see John Potter here, you know, taking parts of the session, sitting in the stand watching the session. You know, obviously that sort of top two age groups who are the kind of next in line of that pathway. John's building up a knowledge of the players, of the coaches, of what they do, trying to bring in a little bit of, you know, the standards and what the first team do. And, you know, again, it's difficult. You're dealing with volunteers, you're dealing with people that are giving up a lot of their time for certainly no financial reward. So we've got to temper that, but we're bridging that gap. There's a lot of work getting done. You know, we hope Callum is the first of maybe not many, but a few of signings of that ilk. Obviously he's a local boy, and it's a great story that he's a fan, and you know his family are such big fans. It's a great story for everyone, but he's a good player, and that's fundamentally the most important thing. He just happens to be a local good player, but we want to keep building that. We want to keep bringing through good players, and we want to have a batch of them. You know, this time next year, we hope that we're sitting with a few Callum Hannas.
Do you think that will be in the form of a development squad, or will it be a case that it maybe be modern apprentices or something, rather than actually us having an ability to play, you know, a living out there?
Yeah, I mean, again, there's nothing set in stone, but the sort of thought process is that we'll have a group of players that will supplement the first team. Whether we look to put them out on loan to get them the game time. We've had a couple of bounce games here. If we had a bigger squad, we could have more games here. We had one this week that we had to cancel. Unfortunately, we took a couple of niggles knocks on Saturday. Thankfully, they're all okay for this weekend, but it meant we sort of cancelled the game on Tuesday. So we'd look to get more games like these, get them more game time, and just be part of the squad, learning every day, improving, becoming better footballers, becoming better people. So yeah, the work's well underway on that one. And as I say, in a year's time, I'm hoping we're sitting here and there's a group of players that are working towards being part of the first team.
You're the guy who's here every day and picking up the phones and interacting and leading the line. But you came in as part of a larger group. How has that kind of cohort developed since you stepped over the threshold, and most importantly, since the first ball was kicked?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's naturally sort of organically found its way. It's kind of settled down. Obviously, it was all hands on deck at the initial part. There was lots of work going on. There was lots of different people leading that work because that was their area of expertise. I think it's kind of settled down a little bit. We've kind of found our niche, and we're still learning. We're actually still getting to know each other as a group properly. Obviously, it's great. We've shared some good times already, in the director's box and whatever we wins. I think that helps everything that we're trying to do. In terms of building relationships, it's the same on the pitch, the same when we're building a new squad. Winning games, it's amazing how it sort of groups them together, and it's the same for us in the director's box. So it's going well. We don't always agree, but there's a good dynamic there. Everyone brings a skill set, which is really important, and we're working well and we're getting on with each of our own parts of the job.
What does next level look like for Raith Rovers across kind of the off-field as well as the on-field?
We've got lots of improvements to do. As I said that in an earlier question, we know we still don't perform like we would like to in certain aspects. Again, I touched on some of them aspects, but we just need to keep pushing the standards. We need to keep driving the standards. It's our jobs to keep demanding of people that the standards go up. Everything we do. Again today there's a company here fitting new sort of hand towel dispensers and soap dispensers and all the toilets, just little things like that. We've got to keep making this place better. I think if we fill this place with good people that want to be better themselves and also want to make the place around them better, then it's a pretty strong force.
What's been the biggest frustration?
I think just when you're trying to change a lot of things, probably all at once, maybe too quickly. People don't like change. That's how we're programmed as a human being. I'm no different to anyone else. You don't like change in your own little world, if you like, your own bubble. So I think there's a bit of frustration that we couldn't have done things quicker. Maybe that was a bit naive of me and others to think that we could do it quicker than we have done. Who knows? But again, it's about being ambitious and pushing and driving things, standards. So that would be the only one I would say that there's been a little bit of frustration. We couldn't have done more than we have done, and that's a bit silly to say that because we've done a hell of a lot.
What elements of the puzzle are missing? If you could reach out and get a specific type of support, what would that be?
Another 3,000 of them every week would be fantastic. But no, listen, the fans have been great. We cannot criticise anything that the fans have done, whether it's buying tickets or getting behind us on social media, buying strips, buying training wear. They've backed us. They've come out in their numbers, and they're really getting behind as a whole what we're trying to do. You'll never please everyone. I understand that. We don't think we can please everyone. We're aware of that, but I can't criticise the fans. They've been absolutely fantastic. It really does help us. I've said it again many times, but it does fuel that fire. When you're coming here every day, it helps that we're getting bigger crowds on a Saturday, because if we were doing everything we're doing Monday to Friday and the attendance was staying the same, we would probably have a problem. We would probably have an issue there, and that would be really frustrating. Thankfully that's not happened. It's beyond probably expectations. They are backing us more than we probably thought we would get initially. We thought it would take a bit more time, so that's been really pleasing, really encouraging, but we just got to keep building on it. I can't express enough how much they have an impact on everything we do. It's on the pitch, off the pitch, it really does. Everything else happens because of that.
It sounds that there's more potential still there. Is that how you're viewing things in terms of, as I said earlier, with some pretty sparse away ends this season, so to be hitting those numbers, kind of 1,300 more than comparable fixtures last season. Yep. It sounds that the aspiration is there, the numbers have matched up, but do you really think we've got another level? Absolutely. Where 3,000 becomes our ordinary, not our let's cross our fingers and hope they turn up, but that's our ordinary? Do you think that a town of this size should be carrying that? Absolutely.
You've seen it again. I've noted it in previous interviews. The cup final against Hamilton last year, the away tie at Ibrox. Now I know these are one-off sort of glamour games, if you like, but the support's there. Easter Road again, they turned up in the numbers. If you can take that amount of people to a game on a Sunday afternoon, then the fans are there. The fans will back us. I'm 100% convinced of that. We can make the attendance that you talk about the norm, and then once we get to that stage, we'll look to push on again, because that's why we're here. Otherwise, we may as well pack up and go home now, because we're trying to push the levels. We don't want to come here and 1,500 people be in the stands. That's not who we're trying to be. It's not who MD wants to be. So, let's keep pushing the boundaries, keep pushing the standards, and collectively we'll get where we want to get to.
These interviews are surprisingly for some of the easiest ones that I have to do, because I don't need a lot of research, because you give me a pretty straightforward brief, and that is just ask me what you want. That does also trigger a wee bit of devilment in me, so I'm going to ask you a final question. How much better does it feel celebrating a winning goal at East End wearing a navy blue scarf?
Oh, it was sweet. It was very sweet, I must admit. It was really good. It was, but again, listen, the fans have waited a long time for that goal and that victory. Again, on Saturday, they've waited a long time to beat an Inverness team. So these are all little tangible milestones that we're ticking off, and it just helps build that momentum, build that foundation of what we're trying to do. You can't always guarantee to beat these teams, or because that's the nature of this league. It's so competitive and so tough. But the way we've done it and the manner in which we've done it is helping. It's helping build it. Again, we spoke before we come on air, and even the manner of which we get the wins. A last minute goal is better than scoring in the first 10 minutes and sort of holding off in a drab affair. Everything's just sort of building the right way. It's encouraging that we've had a good positive start, and we're, dare I say it, top of the league. But that's really irrelevant for us at the minute. We just want to keep doing what we're doing day to day. Gives us a better chance of winning games, and just keep building that momentum. But everyone plays a part in that. Players, manager, staff, fans, everyone around the club plays a part. It's positive, just as I say, good people trying to make the club better every day they come into work. It's a pretty powerful force.
I ain't got anything to add to that. I would normally round it up with a wee neat package and a wee clever soundbite. You say it better than I could. Thanks for your time, Andy.
Thanks, David.